to human beings themselves. God does not need money or power of the strength or knowledge. He created all those things anytime. Then, what is this common or shared purpose? This is something we cannot reach with God's power alone or any human effort. Looking from this perspective, the shared purpose can only be true love. It must be something that can move the motivation or course of my life, even to the end of that life. That can only be true love. My brothers and sisters, the common denominator that can be liked by God, human beings, all things, the spiritual world, heaven and earth is what? Is what? True love. Therefore, all beings, including God, need true love. All thoughts and actions outside of this true love are a waste of time and have no meaning. Therefore, eternal life is possible only when I was born for love, live for love, and die for love. Wow, this is really amazing discovery. I was born for true love. God does exist for the sake of the true love. The all things does exist for the sake of the true love. Everything does exist for the sake of the true love. That's why I need to live for the sake of the true love. I was born for true love. I live for true love. I can die for the sake of the true love. This is the common purpose, my brothers and sisters. Not money, not power, not knowledge. We need to know that this is really basic matter. This is really, really crucial. That's why I need to do everything centering on true love. Otherwise, not centering on true love, I do something, just waste my time. Waste my time. Then God is all-knowing and almighty and can possess and create everything. But there's one thing that even God needs. That is what? True love. However, this true love cannot be felt alone. So, it definitely needs an object partner. That's the reason God created human beings. He created human being for the realization of true love. Even for a human being to realize true love, it would be impossible without the subject partner God. The great principle of true love is that it only comes from counterpart, from the object partner. Because of that, if you do not live for the sake of the other person, you cannot experience true love. This is where the logic that we must live for the sake of others comes from. Very, very powerful content. Living divine principle. Today is a new chapter. The meaning of the freedom from the viewpoint of the principle. I think you know very well, but let's see how further does he explain about that. Freedom and the human form. Okay, so let's start.
The meaning of freedom from the viewpoint of the principle. What is the meaning of true freedom? In light of the principle, 3 characteristics of freedom stand out. First, there is no freedom outside the principle. Freedom requires both free will and the free actions pursuant to that will. Free will and free actions have the relationship to the freedom within the principle. Permission is the real freedom. The mind of an original sinless person cannot operate outside of God's words. That is, the principle. The freedom never deviates from the principle. 3. You have to fulfill responsibilities with the freedom that you feel within God's words. That is, the freedom of the original nature.
Yes. And people feel the freedom when they commit a murder or robbery and telling a lie. When your action deviates from the principle, you feel anxiety, right? And fear rather than freedom. So even Bible mentioned John chapter 8 verse 32. You will know the truth that you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Therefore, we are free only in the truth, true love, and God. And also talking about here, John chapter 8, verse 34, Jesus will reply, I tell you for the certain that anyone who sins is a slave of sin. Therefore, where there is a sin, there is no freedom. There is only pain and remorse of conscience. That once you commit the sin and possessed by evil spirit, Satan control everything, cannot feel any freedom. We need to know that what is the real meaning of the freedom. Okay, continue.
On their free will. Accordingly, a person pursuing mission is established by fulfilling my portion of responsibility with the freedom. There is no freedom without responsibility. Accordingly, where there is the freedom, there must be the responsibility. And where there is the responsibility, there must be the freedom. Human beings cannot fulfill their portions of responsibilities by force.
Yeah. For example, driving is free, right? However, if you drive too fast, you will get into an accident, right? If you drive safely, you can run without an accident. Whether I drive well or not is my portion of responsibility, my brothers and sisters. So why God giving us, freedom? I do want to explain from next slide. Okay, continue.
The freedom is to reach perfection through responsibilities.
The purpose that God gave us the freedom to reach perfection through responsibility. To complete our portion of responsibility, God gave us about the freedom, right? Cannot be done by force. We are not kind of the robot. Continue.
The responsibility without the freedom is a coercion, because you cannot stand in the position that you did everything by yourself. You cannot be the owner. There is no
freedom is what? Complete responsibility. In order to bring what? In order to bring the result of the happiness. In order to realize true love. That's why God gave us this kind of freedom.
When you fulfill responsibilities voluntarily through freedom given to you, you can return results which make God happy. Free will ceaselessly requires results of happiness.
Yeah, this one we need to know that free will ceaselessly requires result of happiness. Why God gave us the freedom? In order to fulfill our portion of responsibility. What's our portion of responsibility? Create happiness and joy. And also need to realize need to substantialize true love. And then?
The purpose that freedom was given
on principle, not centering on your own sake. Father's word.
Order and law have to be observed in the free.
It started from individualism, which only thinks of the oneself. Second, it is deciding and acting according to one's own will under the guise of freedom. As people feel free, the more they have to keep the order and the rules within the principle. Adam and Eve did not know that they have true freedom within the principle. Children have true freedom and joy within the love and relationship of their parents. Even between husband and wife, there's a true freedom within the way and principle of conjugal love. It is the same between siblings as well as in loving your neighbors. And today's youth ministry, I am who I am because of the will. Let's study. Seriously, how can we keep our spirit healthy while upgrading our life to be enriching? That is to have a certain standard that keeps at least one thing unchanged throughout one's day to day life. Then you should gradually expand that. If you cannot do that, then you must go one setting such a standard for even one thing. For example, if you write a gratitude journal every day, do not become the fickle, but do it until the day you die. You need to have that kind of determination. Then go on expanding to different things, one by one. Whether that's attending morning devotion every day without missing a single day, or praying at least 30 minutes each day, or doing hundoke 1 hour or 3 hours, whatever, doing hundoke every day. Set up that kind of standard. Or doing one act of service for others each day, or witnessing every day, and so on. Or it can also be observing Sunday service every week, no matter what happened, or offering tithing each month, or writing down the word that touched you so far in a notebook, and meditating on them one by one every day. If you keep this kind of standard for at least for 6 months, my brothers and sisters, without being fickle, no matter what the situation, it becomes a great habit. Then, if you practice this for more than 30 years, you will be able to keep that standard until you die. Then your entire life will be upgraded, enriching me both spiritually and artistically. For my own case, okay? I'm not saying about this my proud. Just telling you the truth. I wake up at 3 a.m. every day, no matter what happens. Wake up 3 a.m. every day, and offer prayer and prepare the word I will give. Every day, no matter what. Go 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. Keep that kind of the standard whenever you set up some certain standard. And also, I'm exercising every day. Of course, when I travel here and there, I can't do that. But almost every day, no matter what, even though raining and snowing and even strong wind, does not matter. You cannot do exercise outside, and then I do inside. I also exercise every day, to keep good health, because my body belongs to God. Many things. And then also writing the gratitude diary, Hyojong diary. So really create beautiful life. As long as I write the Hyojong diary and gratitude, you are always very, very positive, and then any negative thought is disappearing. That's why, my brothers and sisters, if you set on absolute standard for even one thing, start from small thing first, okay? And if you set up absolute standard for even one thing, and that does not change no matter what kind of environment you are in, you will bring change to your entire life. Being devoted to the smallest of the things resulted in setting the standard of being devoted in all things. Start small one and try 3 months. And then 6 months, overcoming 6 months is not easy. Overcoming 6 months is much hope. You can do it even 1 year and 2 years and 3 years. Once you practice for 3 years, this habit can go until you die. That's why you need to have a good habit. Conquer everything by good habit. Just so you do small things, at least for 3 years. I am telling you, you can have a life-changing experience. If you have such absolute standard, no matter how difficult and painful your reality is, you will be able to deal with it righteously while fighting your fallen nature. If you such absolute standard, God will see you as righteous. And God will give you infinite strength. So set good condition and standards that God has no choice but to sympathize with and love you. Aju, this is a very important point. But fallen man is so much changeable, cannot keep promise, cannot keep such a standard. Even though you have a strong determination, after 3 days, after really 1 month, no more. And then go back again and then repeat same things again and again and again and again. He's a fallen man. Cannot keep even small as a standard. That's why start from small one. And then become good habit and you have a confidence. And then gradually you can conquer entire your whole body and upgrade your spiritual life. Very powerful. That's why you need to do something, righteous things. Keep going. Why you give up witnessing on the way? People no response and no result and give up on the way. Oh my goodness. Once you determine to do witnessing, keep going, even though no result. Keep going, keep going. Then someday God really responds to you. Problem is we cannot keep going. This is the issue. No righteous condition. How can Heavenly Father help us? Why we respect Noah? Once he got a God's commandment, keep 120 years. 120 years. Why we cannot be a righteous person? Because we cannot keep it continuously. Next.
What must we do for it to
The kingdom of heaven through having heart exchanges with God, the heart exchange between members who you longed for, and heart exchange with new members and spiritual children. For Sunday service to be gracious before attending service, each of us have to create grace in our normal life. In other words, we must live a proud life in our own sphere of life. We need to live a life of touching the heart of the others. When you come to church with such a gracious life and proud accomplishment, you will long for people. People must long for people. Sunday services, brothers and sisters, becoming one in front of God and returning joy and glory to God. But if we live in worry and meet each other, would it become a service of joy? For it, when we offer up to the heaven
of love? That is why.
Very important content. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you must sanctify your mind. How to sanctify your mind? Always ask yourself, what am I doing here? What am I doing this for? And then clarify the motivation and meaning. Whatever I do, I need to assume the absolute life creed that I am doing this work for God and God's will. We must deal with all things with all our heart, with all attachment that we work for the God's will. and live for the sake of the God's will. I am a person who exists for the sake of the God's will. I am a person who exists for the wish of our Creator. We should live clearly establishing such a standard. Wherever we go and whatever we do, we cannot forget this point. People who exist for the God's will must have peace and joy in their heart, and they can overcome any difficult situation. This is so because the way of the God's will is the way of love. But if you walk because of your job and money and yourself, your sense of the mission and drive will disappear. That's why our heart must always be joyful. When we think that we are working for the sake of the God's will, our heart will be joyful and always peaceful. You must always clarify your motivation. When people who work for themselves or money or workplace, anything including the God's will, face unfavorable situation, they easily face disappointment and pain and cannot win in the battle between good and evil. That's why we must joy and peace, and we can fight with Satan only when we have hope. To do that, my sense of the purpose that I live for the sake of the God's will and walk for the sake of the God's will must be clear. Where you overcome with joy, there are no conditions for Satan to invade. This is because there is a heart which only God can reciprocate with. Today I talk about I am who I am because of the God's will.